Good day to you, students. I hope you guys are staying healthy in your various homes. In our last class, we discussed polymerization, and we also mentioned the various types of polymerization. But today, we are still going to speak extensively on a particular aspect of polymerization. And that will now lead us to a new topic called condensation polymerization. Now, by the end of this lesson, we must be able to recall polymerization and its types, just like we have done in the last class, and also discuss condensation polymerization. Cite examples of polymers formed from condensation polymerization, and also highlight the features or characteristics of condensation polymerization. All right? Let's look at this. We want to use this to recall what we have done in the last class. Polymerization. We shouldn't forget that polymerization is the process by which different monomers or same monomers come together to form a complex polymer. And we also look at the various types of polymerization, that is addition polymerization and condensation polymerization. In our last class, we discussed addition polymerization. But just like I have said, today we are going to discuss condensation polymerization. All right, what do we mean by condensation polymerization? Condensation polymerization is a process by which dissimilar monomers combine together to form a complex polymer. Don't forget, I used the word dissimilar there, different. Unlike in the case of addition polymerization, where you have similar monomers combining together to form a complex polymer. All right? Let's look at some certain examples of okay. What are examples of polymers that are formed by condensation polymerization? One of them is our polymeric amide, and examples of polymeric amide are your nylon, your protein, and some other examples which we are going to still mention in the Google Classroom. All right, we have carbohydrates, which is a very common source of food, and we also have the polyester. Example of polyester is your pteridine. Okay? Now, let us quickly look at let's look at nylon as a typical example of a compound formed from condensation polymerization. We shouldn't forget that in addition to polymerization, anytime you have combination of monomers, there wouldn't be anything like elimination of molecules. But in the case of condensation, there is always elimination of molecules like water, carbon dioxide, and some other molecules. Okay, let's look at nylon. Nylon is formed from the polymerization of diamine. Example of this diamine is diaminohexane, and we also have it combining with dicarboxylic acid. Example of our dicarboxylic acid is azane dioic acid. Now, let's see how it is formed. This one represents the dicarboxylic acid. You can call it, this is what you call adipic acid, or you call it azane dioic acid. This is also called azane dioic acid. Then this azane dioic acid is reacting with the diamine. Example of diamine is hexamethylene diamine. This can also be referred to as diaminohexane. Diaminohexane. Alright. Now, when these two combine together, there is going to be an elimination of water molecule here. Now, let's look at this. This is the carboxylic group you have here. This is another carboxylic group you have here. This is carboxylic group. Now, this is the amine group of this compound. This is also the amine group of this compound. Now, from the carboxylic end of this hexane acid and the and the amide end of this diaminohexane, water will be removed. And don't forget, water is formed from hydrogen and hydroxide group. So when you remove this water from here, you are now left with CO and NH. And that is the CO you have here, CO, NH. That particular place where you have CO and NH, that is where you call the peptide linkage or amide linkage of this compound. And the water that is removed here, you can see it is what you have here. Now, when you look at this condensation polymerization, you will discover that we have two different monomers coming together. And at the end of the day, two products are formed with the elimination of water as well as a nylon which is formed. All right, let's look at protein as. Let's look at protein. This is another one. Okay. This is protein. This is obtained by polymerization of different monomers of amino acid. We have as many as possible numbers of amino acid: alanine, glycine, phenylalanine, etc., etc. Now, this is the general structure of protein, and this is also the general structure of protein, that is the amino acid. What differentiates between the two is the differences between the alkyl group. This one is R1, this is R1, while this one is R2. So the alkyl group is what differentiates between the two. They all have the same amide group, the same carboxylic group, as well as the same carbon atom. Now, if we remove this water from air, then you are now left with CO and NH. And the CONH we're talking about is what is formed here, CONH. Now, that CONH is what you also call the peptide linkage of this compound. Alright, with this short description we have made in this video, I believe we will have a background understanding of this topic. When we get to the Google Classroom, we are going to discuss this in detail and also give various examples of compounds that can be formed from condensation polymerization. As I await you at the Google Classroom, I pray that God bless us all. Thank you.